Good morning. Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. And if you're watching the recording at another part of the day, thank you so much for finding us and welcome. Please give us your feedback whenever you can and some ideas going forward. Today, we're talking about morning rituals. What do you do? What do our lovely team here do? Please let us know if you are watching the recording. But in the meantime, let's go straight over to the wonderful Helen Gibson. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. Yes, morning rituals. I don't. Sometimes I wonder whether we are aware. I would say that many people have morning rituals that they're just not aware of, and so to bring your awareness to it. And most morning rituals actually begin with your evening ritual the night before, and your preparation for sleep. Some of the rituals that you probably do without thinking: you brush your teeth. A lot of people put their face on before they start the day. There's, you don't sort of move till you've had your first cup of coffee. So your actual things that you wake up, and also the mindset with which you wake up. I would encourage you to think about the mindset with which you wake up, and that begins the night before. So my morning rituals are to ensure that I have my water ready, intentional water, and that when I'm pouring my water at night, so that I've got water during the night, but predominantly for the next morning, that I've put my intention in of a good night's sleep and how I want to wake my day. So I start my day with gratitude. The first thing is, when you become conscious of your day, what are your first thoughts? Are you, oh, gonna get up, don't want to get up, I'm not gonna go to work and I don't like going to work? Do you wake up in a kind of begrudging kind of like that you've actually got, that you were blessed to wake up? So think about and become aware of. The only way to actually change and alter anything is to become aware of what it is and what you actually do yourself. So I would encourage you to start to become aware of what your morning rituals are, the vibration with which you awaken in the morning, and where you go with that and how that shapes your day. For me, as soon as I become a conscious, I do try, I'm not saying I always succeed, to offer gratitude. Thank you. I have become conscious of a brand new day. To then, rather than picking up my phone straight away, I know a lot of people do this. It is difficult, but do pick your phone up straight away. Put your phone, again, this is where the nighttime comes in. Put your phone at a distance, so you actually have to maybe get out of bed or stretch or move, but you have to move. You can't just put your hand out and pick it up. Turn off your Wi-Fi if you can, so you've even had to get up and turn back your Wi-Fi on. So how you actually become aware of how you actually wake and begin your day, what your rituals are that you might not think that they're rituals. And when I say rituals, they can be called habits. There's other words as well to do the things that we do. You say ritual and people can get a little bit like, oh.
Like, it sounds like you have an altar and you do burning of candles and incantations, that kind of thing. I think Helen's frozen, so I'm
But
just leaving it in. Yeah.
life is sacred, and I really wish that to bring that this sacred thing. So I'm gonna, because I just all of a sudden I heard you talk about candles and I thought, oh, I must have frozen. But yeah, so there is an idea. I like to say ritual, but it is sacred, and it is something for you to bring your awareness to. And then once you become aware of what you actually do, you can change it. So for me, it's the night before, gratitude in the morning, thinking about my own day. If you do dreams, journals, things like that, you might wish to start journaling. And this is before you've actually sort of sat up and got yourself anxious. So what do you already do, and what do you want to do? As I say, try not to pick up my phone, but I will go through my day. I will offer my gratitude. I will think about what I've got to do during the day. That's usually when I go head for my phone, because I've started to put everything into a diary in my electronic device, and that's a dangerous thing for me to do. The other things that I do, apart from drinking water, when I do get out of bed and go into the kitchen, not only do I put the kettle on, but that's when I'll juice my lemon. I have the juice of a lemon in the morning. just to kickstart my day. I no longer come up with goosebumps because I've been doing it regular enough that it doesn't goosebump me. But there is a really nice ooh when you have a bit of a lemon to start your day, which I enjoy. I like things that make me go ooh, things that make you go ooh, ooh. So, you know, if that brings that to my day, then I'm a happy girl already. But then what your breakfast is, what breakfast you eat. Are you eating real food in the morning or processed foods in the morning? No judgments as well. Don't start beating yourself up and kind of going, oh, I'm one of them people, I pick up my phone and then I have my caffeine and oh, I'm so on. You are who you are. Don't go down them routes. Kind of just be fun with yourself. You know, the things that make you go, ooh, you know, like, ooh, I have a coffee in the morning. Oh, I have my fag in the morning. Lots of people can't start a day without a fag. Personally, I've no idea where I do kind of know it's decades. But you know, so what do you do? And be nice to yourself. And then once you become aware, what do you want to do? And one of the things that I try to do in the morning, it doesn't always happen, is exercise, move the body. On a Wednesday, the lovely Kerry or Shell or rubbing gets me. The only thing with Kerry doing it to me is I know about it on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and you know the legs just keep feeling it, feeling it. But it's lovely. Awaken the body, awaken the mind, and meditate. I would encourage you all to develop a meditation practice, and that can be when you become conscious of your day, that you then sit up and just allow yourself the space and the gift of meditation. And right here, right now, I'm going to encourage you all to close your eyes and lower your gaze. And we're going to go into a meditation. This is a guided one. There's lots of guided meditations. There are morning meditations. There are musical vibration frequency. Yeah, there's no music. There's only the sound and the meditation. So please close your eyes, soften your gaze, shuffle your buttocks if you're sitting to make sure that you're comfortable. If you're lying down, just begin to breathe. Just start to notice your shoulders. Take 3 deep, full breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. If that's comfortable, your shoulders to drop. Allow your brow to unfurl, your jaw to unclench. With each exhale, saying, thank you, I'm going to relax. With each inhale, normalize your breathing. With each inhale, offer gratitude to the air. We forget that the air nourishes and offers us nutrients. It brings us the very breath of life. Allow yourself to just become aware of the seat beneath you, support that is offered. Become aware of the sounds of your environment, the sounds of my environment. I hope you can hear the birds in my environment. Become aware of any fluctuations in light behind your eyes or behind the softening of your gaze. Any swirls or patterns. Become aware of any aromas that may be around. Any taste that may be in your mouth, on your lips. And the feel of your environment upon your skin. I'm aware of anything that is happening within your receiving. Allowing any thoughts that you have to just pass. Recurring to-do lists, know that you'll attend to them. but allowing your thoughts to pass, not getting annoyed or angered with your thoughts. Becoming aware of how you call yourself back. If you do find yourself lost in a thought, how do you talk to yourself? Becoming aware of that inner dialogue. The way that you engage with you. No judgments, just awareness with kindness. And breathe. Allowing yourself to be. Offering gratitude for the ability and the space that you have to be. Here, now. Just noticing, being aware, offering gratitude. Allowing your attention to unfurl before you the day. When you've finished with Wellbeing Wednesday, what are you going to do? Just allow your day to go before you. No panic, no judgments, no anxiety, no stress. Just allowing the day, the to-dos about the day, not the to-dos, just how do you wish your day to be? Start to think about the vibration that you wish to bring to your day. Are you entering into it with that I've got to, got to, got to, got to? Or are you able to, and whatever you need to do will be done? Okay. See your day before you, enveloped in a loving vibration of light. Any traffic jams, whether with cars or people, anything that may stop you, may hinder your day. See it evaporating, dissolving into mist. Know that there is nothing that can happen today that you are not able and willing to sort out or to leave if that is necessary. And breathe and be. How do you wish to come through this meditation? Prepared, ready, rejuvenated, ready for your day. So bring your awareness again to the seat beneath you, the earth beneath your seat, knowing that you are supported by the earth every moment of every day. The air that you breathe supports you every moment, every day. Smells, the tastes and the feel of your environment. And take 3 deep, full breaths, each breath bringing you back to this moment at this time, rejuvenated and ready for your day. Thank you. This was just a very quick meditation.
Thank you, Helen. We love the meditation, quick or not. Energizing us.
Well, I think sometimes we get lost in the idea that meditations have to be for a very long time. And your meditation may just be a moment, a literal moment of just a breath and that support that the breath gives. you know, so to kind of know that you literally can start your day with, and that is a meditation, that's a breath, that's a moment of space and clarity that you give yourself. And that can be such a useful kind of tool throughout your day, especially when there's Egypts in front of you that want to mess up your day. Just take a breath. And as you blow, just notice them blowing away.
Keep breathing. Just keep breathing. We did, there's a belly breathing demo that you did back in the summer on one of our Wellbeing Wednesdays. I have to find the link for that. That was really good. And also we've spoken about box breathing, haven't we? If anybody's interested, my day starts with box breathing. And since I've had the infrared light, which we discussed before Christmas, I start with a session on the infrared light and box breathing. So that's something I've learned from Wellbeing Wednesday. So thank you, everybody that gave me that information. And with no further ado, good morning, June Trember. Good morning, June, and welcome.
Oh, hi, I've been making notes. Do you remember how Karen used to do wonderful bits of research before we started? And she used to take a topic and bring information. Well, I just want to say what on the candle thing. Of course, lighting a candle in the morning isn't a bad idea. Didn't mean to imply that. And I do actually light a candle in the morning, but it's not like you know, you might think a ritual in terms of yeah, it's a habit. I like to say it's a habit, and it's also just saying hello to the ancestors, because I have a picture of them next to the candle, and then I do a little bit of space clearing with the Palo Santo incense stick, just to, you know, give the house some love.
It's so important as well, you know, those things are so important, honoring bodies and what's gone. I think.
And something that Pam Gregory always, I say Pam Gregory this, that, and the other thing every week. She says, I am stepping into an expanded consciousness of love. And that's a lovely little mantra to hold on to and to start your day with. Don't always remember it first thing, but at some point in the day. So yeah, and I want to encourage everyone to think about in Chinese medicine, the hours 7 to 9 are the large intestine time. Now, that's not always the time when people get up and do their ablutions, but it is often a time when you first need to have a bowel movement. And I would encourage everyone to make sure they do a good evacuation first thing in the morning or at that point in the morning, with their feet on a stool, stools for a stool, because it helps open up the evacuation and it makes it easier. When we started sitting on thrones, it didn't do us any favors, and it can I've got pictures, but we won't go there. I mean, they're diagrams. They're not pictures of people on the toilet, but diagrams of what happens to the tendons and things around the rectum when we're sitting on a throne, and when you have your knees up, it just opens it better. And the other thing I would say is a don't do. Don't take a handful of vitamins and swallow them first thing in the morning, which is so many people do that because they want to get them out of the way, and they will forget if they don't do it first thing. But your stomach isn't ready for that, you know, and sometimes it's worth just checking which things go with which things. Sometimes it's a better time of day to have things. I often check with people with muscle testing to see if maybe later in the day is better for some of your supplements to be taken, and keep them, you know, separated a little bit. Not you know, a great big load of different things. The stomach's trying to cope with, you know, just waking up and getting the enzymes moving, never mind having a load of stuff to deal with. And then connecting to the earth and the heavens, doing the qigong, drawing the energy up into the balls of the feet and then drawing the energy down. So you can do that sitting down, or you can do it standing up, and you can go outside and stand on the grass if you have grass, or stand on the pavement if you really want to this weather. But you can send your roots down through the house into the earth, and you can draw the energy up, the yin energy up, and then the yang energy down. So that's, I think, all I've got to say today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, June. Would anybody else like to say something? We can see Jean-Marc getting ready.
I was going to say, I'd like to mention, I forgot to mention Savers. It's a process, I put it in the chat, developed by Hal Elrod. So you wake up an hour earlier and you do 2 minutes of silence, which is your meditation, 10 minutes, sorry, of affirmations, 10 minutes of visualizations, 10 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of, and that just helps to clear away. There's also the artist way, which is to get 2 A4 pieces of paper and just allow yourself to write. Don't think about what you're writing. You don't even read what you're writing, but it's a process that gets rid of the gumph. And that's another morning thing that people do. These, I could have gone a bit more to detail really, but yeah, just wanted to mention those. And obviously earthing, as June already mentioned, getting out and standing on the actual earth directly with your feet. A lot nicer to do when you are in a warm country. But those are some things that there's lots of information about what people do in the mornings to start their day. But Hal Elrod's Savers is, if you don't know what to do, it's quite a good one.
Thank you, Helen. I think Jean-Marc would like to speak. Hi, John.
Yes.
Mark.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening, everyone, depends what time you are. In the morning, it's always the time of reflection, but also the time where my routine most of the time to go for good Nordic walk for a good hour, going to the wood, qigong, exercise, and back home after a good an hour and a half in the fresh air and bath into the element, right? First thing I do in the morning, I just clean my mouth, clean the tongue slowly, and clear all the mouth with hydrogen peroxide and spit it out, and a bit of a bicarbonate sodium, and spit it out, and and after we'll have my warm drink with aloe vera juice, and after I'm going for a walk. And it's important to set up the body into sort of the routine and the mechanic. And the walk, it don't have to be a speedy walk, but we need to create a movement in the body. And the more we create movement, the more we avoiding the sedentarity, we avoiding a lot of problems coming with it. And June was saying something very, very important. And don't take your vitamins in the morning on an empty stomach, because you can go already into the vagal, so like a pass out, because your vagal, if your vagal nerve is weak, you will pass out, because you bring something in a system where the body is still digesting, is still waking up slowly, and you just arrive with an enormous amount of vitamins and what sort of vitamin it in, and I think we're intoxicating the body too much with a lot of vitamins, and we're overdoing most of the time. And after, having a good breakfast, and that's why everything is, having good breakfast is important in the morning, starting from the time we are waking up, and to the time like 1 o'clock we shouldn't have any sugar, because we should respect the circadian rhythm of the body, where between the cortisol and insulin. And we will avoid a lot of inflammation. We will avoid a lot of problem, because if you check your pH in the morning, you will see it's quite acid, and if you get some sugar on that, you will acidify your pH. And it's better to have something more consistent. That's why we said, I had a very good friend, which is, he wrote a book about, he was a pioneer on circadian nutrition. And he left us a bit too early, but he was a professor in neurology, and he realized all these patients were getting better on the neurology problem when they were having a fat breakfast in the morning. So a fat breakfast, what that means? It means to bring some good protein, like animal protein, olive oil, right? A good, like good unpasteurized cheese. For example, in England, you find a very good 1.5 years old cheddar, unpasteurized. And when you're eating, there's some crystal inside, which is lysin crystal, which is help to build up to opening the tryptophan to create secretion of tryptophan, which bring also a lot of balance in the body that we need. So it's very much about what we see all the time in the consultation. It's a quick breakfast, coffee and sugar, and a piece of bread or croissant or something. That's it. So we don't go anywhere. Or you see cornflakes, milk, juice, and banana, and mix a lot of fruit in that. That's it. Put that in a bowl, leave it on all day. In the evening, when you put your nose into it, it's like a brandy, everything. And that's what's happening in your system. We are fermenting. So more we're giving the body the product to ferment it, more it turns to brewer. The brewery, what you're going to make a vinegar. So that's what people said. Oh, after a bit of wine, I'm drunk, because they're already in alcohol. Yeah. So it's important in the morning from the time we wake up, said 8 o'clock, we have between 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, not to have any sugary. It can be juices or it can be any food which contains sugar, direct sugar. Well, we mean like cereal, milk, juices, and all these things. It brings the children and also the people in really hyperactive. So that's my morning awareness and recommendation.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Excellent.
And speaking of children, I had it written down, but then I wrote other things around it and it got obscured. Children's breakfasts. Just wanted to say quickly that in this country, particularly, children are prone to dampness anyway. They're more yang than adults because they're more compact. But they are definitely more prone to dampness, particularly in York. And so, yeah, I mean, what I would say about, our normal breakfasts, they're full of damp. And so, it would be really good to encourage children to eat things that are from the damp removing list, which I could add in. Well, I didn't find it. Yeah. There are damp removing foods that I have. I can give the list to Kerry and she can put it in the notes. I think that might be the best thing. And try and avoid, this stuff like bananas. Because, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Bananas grow in hot, dry countries for a very good reason, because they're there to moisten and cool people who live in hot, dry places. And they're not really meant to be picked before they're ripe, for one thing, which is what happens. And then they come over here and they spray them with chemicals to artificially ripen them. So you're absorbing that, unless you get the organic ones. But it really, they're full of damp, and children do have a sweet tooth. A sweet part of the tongue is really noticeable with children because breast milk is really sweet, and they're prone to wanting sweet things because that's what's comforting for them. But if you can avoid even having bananas in the house, if you've got children, my kids probably felt deprived, but I didn't care so much because once I realized they were really snotty little characters, I did everything in my power to avoid them having extra snot. So, I think it's worth it. And you can avoid all these classic children's problems simply by avoiding things like bananas, because so many kids, like Jean-Marc says, they end up fermenting stuff and they end up with earaches and chesty coughs and diarrhea, the body trying to clear stuff, never mind the spots which come trying to actually, the body, it will do what it can to clear things. But if you try to stop putting stuff in there, that would be really good. But you don't want to overload. Kids under 7 shouldn't have too much meat either, because that also is hard for them to digest. So, they can have other types of protein.
No, you got eggs, you got also, but the banana also the problem. So we are not African. We don't have the enzyme to digest them, and the dampness also, it like coconut milk. All this fruit will be coming from Africa and all that. We are in Europe. In Europe, it's cold, it's damp. It's so we bring some product and we eat some product from which is bring a lot of dampness in ourselves, right? Like coconut, like a banana, like all this exotic fruit, which they are. It's not for nothing. Nature put this fruit in Africa to cool the body, to bring some damp and all that, because it's dry, because a lot of sun. So we're causing a lot of problem to ourselves here in Europe, because we are not eating the right food. And we are the only animal which is cooking the food to make us sick. So
makes so much sense when you put it like that, doesn't it?
We have to be a bit realistic. It's yeah.
So what are people's thoughts on milk, being milk should be for cows and not humans? I mean, I don't drink milk, but I'm just wondering what.
I agree.
Well,
however, it doesn't mean to say I never have it.
The thing it's
I have milk. I do have milk. I used to be vegan before it became insects and lots of processed stuff many years ago. I think the whole push on the vegan thing with all of this processed food and almond milk. How do you milk an almond? I mean, I do make cashew nut milk, but I don't sit there tweaking an almond. But lots of the processes involved in some of this stuff is worse than than going out. But I get raw milk from a cow. The farmer goes and gets the raw milk, because there's so many hormones and chemicals in your average everyday milk that's gone for processing. I personally think if it hasn't gone through a process, I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat for decades and decades, and was vegan. But cow's milk and goat's milk and sheep's milk. If you can milk them and they're happy to give it to you, then like we used to live near a dairy farm, and that is horrible. It really is. The cows look emaciated. I mean, you're forcing cows to believe that they're feeding their children. I don't agree with that. But raw milk, taking a little bit of milk from a mum that's feeding a baby, maybe, I haven't got a problem with that. If she's got it to spare, I would share my milk, you know, when I used to breastfeed, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with sharing my milk. So I don't have a problem with that. So if another animal can share their milk. But I do think that it's
Yeah.
for
Yeah, factory farming has got a lot of,
you have to take it, you know, in moderation. In moderation.
yeah.
The milk is still the first source of osteoporosis, right?
Yeah.
For very good reason, but it also milk, when you start to stop the milk, you start to remove a lot of allergy from people, right? When you the problem you got the lactose and you got the casein, right? The only milk which is close to the mother milk, it's the mare milk. The mare milk is very close to the mother milk because it's the same sort of a casein, and they nearly no lactose inside.
You mean horses?
Yeah,
Or
the horse
horses.
milk.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, mare milk.
Mares. Yes.
The horse milk. Yeah.
But goats
said
is
man
also closer to ours as well, isn't it? That's what I've always understood.
And when you see what is in the milk now, between the bacteria, between the antibiotic is very, very high. The hormone, you know, they use. If you look now at the cow, before you had the cow, they had the normal, how you call that, the mother.
Udder.
Yeah.
Udder.
And the spine was straight, right? Now they got a very big one, and the spine is curved, right?
Yeah.
Because they're crumbling all the bone, they are in osteoporosis. So they had to inject them with antibiotic. They were on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis. And these animals, they are very, very, very fragile and suffering a lot. So you find that into the milk, and they clean everything properly before they milk the cow, and so it's all part of the system. So more we stay away from milk, you know, it's the better we are. We don't really need milk in our system.
Although in the olden days, they did used to use milk from their own cow. If everybody had a cow down the end of the garden, or they had a neighbor with a cow, they would use it to help people convalesce from serious illnesses, but they boiled it with a small piece of onion in it. This is a fantastic tip that I learned years ago. To break down the casein and to make it more digestible, and also probably to clear out any impurities that might have accumulated. But yeah, it's something in small doses, and if it's from an organic cow and it's raw, unpasteurized, because pasteurization has done us so much harm. You know, it's been a really bad idea, and you know, we can talk about the germ theory another time. Louis Pasteur, his name lives on. Hear me.
And you can
pasteurizing the human book.
there are I think the food you can get raw milk if you do have milk. I think because raw milk's on the rise. There's lots of places. They are trying to shut it down though. Again, they're trying to stop people from excuse me, having it. But the first place I ever had it was up near Adrian's Wall. It was on a charity thing, and it was a farm that only had raw milk. Well, actually, the first time I had it was when I was young. My colleague lived on a farm, and she used to bring the milk in that she had milked from the cow on a Saturday. So lots creamier and all sorts of difference. But there is a movement. You can find you can get it available. But all things in moderation. I think that's the thing. Milk became this. You have a pint of milk, or you have a glass of milk. You've got to have milk. I've never been a lover of milk, as it happens, so I don't have lots of it. But I think that's with everything, because for me, everything on this planet is for my benefit and for my use. If I abuse things, then I'm in trouble. So is the planet. So it's about using, not abusing for me. And that's what I say about my work. And I think use me, don't abuse me. But the planet, anything that the planet offers, is for us. And as long as we don't it's greed that's the problem, in all areas,
I think with the milk, going back to probably 70s, children were encouraged to drink milk. So that's why they made the cereal, and they fortified the cereal with vitamins and mostly sugar to get children to drink milk, which is very contradictory, isn't it? When you think about it.
Well, and they used to have, I grew up in Canada, so we didn't, but I understand from people who grew up here, they used to have little bottles of milk in the schools. And I know people who absolutely loathe and detest milk because it was always warm and they tasted horrible.
Yeah, with a little thick layer on the top.
But one of the things that I don't know whether there used to be a saying, didn't there, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I've learned over the last few years that Kellogg's actually came up with that. There's no conflict of interest in that, then, is that?
Yeah.
Well, I fast. I don't know if anybody else does, but I don't eat before 1 o'clock. I don't have anything. I have water.
Yeah.
It's maybe a herbal tea. I don't have anything until at least 1. But that's not for everybody either.
No, I think everybody has to find their own way.
Yeah.
Breakfast for me I do think breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. I don't know if it's my Kellogg's indoctrination, but I think you eat breakfast like a king. I love big breakfast. You eat lunch like a prince, and you eat dinner like a pauper. Do you know what I mean? The later it goes, the less you eat. Unless you work nights, then it's the other way around. But I love breakfast, and I don't try not to eat at night after 8. I'm not saying I don't, but I try not to eat after 8 o'clock. So I go from 8 o'clock till 9, 10 o'clock. I think that's a good 12 hours fasting. That's why they call it breakfast, isn't it? Because you're breaking your night fast.
Yeah, so you can have your breakfast at any time, whenever you break your fast. That's your breakfast.
Yeah. And it is really weird because I don't want like lunch foods. When I break my fast, I will still want breakfast type foods. It's it's all up there. But fasting, you need to do more than 12 hours if you're doing it for health benefits. But
that's enough for me, Kerry.
As I say, it doesn't suit everyone, does it? It's taken me, I've been doing it I've always fasted for about 14 hours. But yeah, the last year a bit more, and I feel really good on it, but it's not for everybody.
My friend fasted they did a 40-day fast.
It's not for everyone,
What?
You cannot recommend to everyone.
Yeah. No, that's not for everyone.
No, I saw so many disasters.
I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but they prepare. But you can there's different types of fasting. There's so many different approaches to fasting, but they did do a 40-day fast, and it was for spiritual reasons as well. And then you've got breatharians who don't eat at all. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm not promoting any of this. I'm just sort of saying that these things are out there.
I love food. I could not eat at all. I love to eat. It's one of my favorite things.
Sarah, have you got anything to add, my dear? You've been lovely and quite. Oh, you're still on mute, my darling.
Okay, I've unmuted myself. Not really in terms of food stuff, because again, I don't eat breakfast in the mornings. I start eating at lunchtime. But yeah, I'm such a girly in the morning. I've sat here and listened to all the lovely things that you do, and I go, yeah. And then I think, no, Sarah, actually what you do is you kind of, you have to do I have to do the things that make me feel good in the morning. So yeah, I do the gratitude log because actually that does make me feel good. And yes, I do come down and make my pint of hot water before I'll touch anything else. And then I go back upstairs. Sometimes I actually, I am actually very blessed. I have a sauna in my house. And sometimes I'll go and pop myself in my infrared sauna, which is just heavenly. And then I just know how blessed I am in the world. But while I'm in there, I have a little, I love gadgets. I'm a gadget girl. And I have this gadget that I do my face with because I look in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm getting to 60 this year. And I don't want to look like I'm 60 this year. I actually want to stay looking as young as I possibly can. So I have the, various bits and pieces that I put on my face. So I give it a squirt with, I use a rose water and a homeobotanical, which is a combination of various herbs. I can't tell you what's in it because I'd have to look it all up. And that's called Skin Revive. So I give that a squirt all over, and then I get this little electrical gadget, which is a bit like a TENS machine, and I give my face a damn good workout in the morning, and it lifts me up, and it kind of reduces the act a little bit, and it makes me feel an awful lot better in the morning. And I do think that starting the day off in a way where you can stand up, look in the mirror and go, oh God, yeah, that feels better. You're going to have a better day. The other thing that I do, and I used to do it every single morning, but I've got out of the habit, and I do it when she's actually doing these things live, is again a bit of an Instagram girl. This is me trying to stay young. But I follow a woman called Katie Brindle, and she does a 30-minute qigong thing. She used to do it every morning, but now she just does it twice a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And it's great because it makes me get out of bed and it makes me do it. And because I have a little reminder that comes up on my phone every time she goes live. And I do that. And on the days that I do that, I feel like a complete goddess when I've finished. So what better way to start the day than that, really? So yeah, that's all I've got to say about morning stuff.
Excellent.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, actually, there is one other thing that I do, which again, I used to do every morning, but I kind of got out of the habit of it. And it's not a first thing in the morning thing for me. It's usually more like I would normally have my breakfast kind of 12, 1 o'clock-ish. And that is, and sometimes I think, crikey, I ought to change the time that I do this. But then I'd be drinking cacao at kind of first thing in the morning, and that wouldn't be such a good idea for me. But I do a meditation and a little cacao ceremony for them. Again, I say not every day, but cacao has loads and loads of health benefits, and I just love it because again, it makes me feel fabulous. So, and I liked.
Sarah, I love cacao.
I didn't hear any of that, Helen, because it all broke up and went all Dalek-y, unfortunately.
She loves cacao and she does the ceremonies herself.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Yes, they're great.
I think that's what she was saying.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I am actually going to be doing cacao ceremony.
I love cacao.
Because for the new moon,
Oh wow, nice.
Bath. I usually hold a sound bath on the new moon. And tonight, I think we've got 8 women coming for a sound bath, and we do a little cacao ceremony. And we also do some self-care stuff. I haven't decided what that's going to be tonight. But we all love doing that. We'll really enjoy doing that. And the cacao is just fabulous. It gives
Cacao and sound baths are just such a beautiful combination. I do them, bringing a meditation and the intentions around, and then around the fire.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't got a fire. I have to do it in my house. But maybe during the summertime, we might get outside and do a fire. That would be a really nice idea. Thanks for that, Helen. Yes.
Do it in the sauna.
Outside cacao circles as well with sound baths when it's raining and you're outside but you're covered, like I have a covered
sort of thing. Yeah.
Or had a covered area, I should say. The storms have taken it. But the rain actually really when you do a sound bath in the rain, it's just gorgeous.
Yes. Well, oh yeah,
Is there a recipe or something we can add into the description?
For
of how
cacao.
to- Yeah.
yeah, I can put one in, or
Um,
Helen can put one in.
Yeah,
I
everybody
can-
does their own blend really, and obviously your intention is massive in it. But I do blends, and I do cacao shakes. I don't know if you've had a cacao shake, Sarah. Really gorgeous. I have to say they're lovely. I handful of cashew nuts, the cacao, blitz it till it becomes a powder. Add water, and then I use a cayenne pepper, cinnamon, sometimes cardamom. Date syrup, and sometimes I put a banana in. Sorry, June and John Mark, I do put a banana in, and do a cacao and have a shake, and it's quite delicious. Yes, it is lovely. And you only need I only use 22 to 24 grams when I do the shakes, not the ceremonial amount. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't need.
I only have a wee bit every day, but when I
Yeah.
do the ceremony, I do it much stronger. 30
Yeah.
to 35 grams, I think I use, and it's lovely. It's
Oh
really
wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if that could go with the mushroom powder, because I'm struggling to get that mushroom powder into anything that I can drink. Jean-Marc
Oh.
might be able to help with that, because he does a lot with mushrooms.
Well, the mushroom powder, I will recommend. The thing is, first, nature doesn't produce any shake, doesn't produce any juice. It produces fruit, and the juice is what we're making when we're biting and we're chewing. So that's why we got all this enzyme in the mouth to pre-digest our food. So when you get any, how we say, the juices or shake or something, most of the time you don't chew it, you just drink it. So you don't digest it. It arrives in the stomach undigested. So it goes into the liver undigested, and it's going to be put on the side by the liver, because the liver doesn't deal with sugar, right? So it put on the side. That's why we see a lot of cellulite, or a lot of as the year passing by. We tend to put some weight, which came from there, most of the time. So we need to make sure we chew our food. The mushroom powder, I will recommend to put in the mouth and chew it, because what is happening, and that is a workshop I tried to put together in March, but we don't have a lot of people yet. But to understand what is happening in the mouth, the mouth flora is highly important. But in the meantime, in the mouth flora, we found the papillomavirus, we saw Epstein-Barr virus, also the viruses and bacteria and staphylococcus and all that. So if you get some mushroom in the mouth and you start to chew them, they are better than to be, because in a way you start to clean and to balance the flora in the mouth, right? It's better to put some mushroom, to chew some mushroom, than to put essential oil, to put colloidal silver or this sort of thing, because you're just killing your flora. So you're killing also everything going down. So if you got a powder, take a bit. You don't have to take a lot, right? But you take a bit and you just chew it and chew it. The taste is from nature. It's raw. It's from nature. So it's not going to. And that's why if you look on an Ayurvedic and Chinese medicines, most of the time, or you got tea or you got powder because you have to start from the mouth. Done. If you don't look after this part is all the bacteria we have here is causing infertility, is causing problem when the mother, she wants to expulse the baby, she wants to push, you cannot push because the bacteria, they are there, and the viruses. You cannot open the mouth correctly because the bacteria, they're paralyzing the mouth. So if you buy yourself a little torch, UV torch, and you darken the room, and you put this UV torch on your tongue, I can assure you, you will see the bacteria, you will see the virus there, because virus and bacteria are fluorescent. When you put the light on, you will see some of the tongue are red, or pink, or orange, pink, and it's all different bacteria. You got probionic bacteria, acne, you got mycobacteria, it's all there. So that's why it's very important to clean the tongue, but not too strong, but what every morning, hydrogen peroxide, and you can do that also in evening. But mushroom, I always take the powder. And what you can do also, you can take like you take 30 teaspoons of you can mix something very interesting. You take 30 teaspoons of mushroom, right? The powder. To that, you added 1 drop of essential oil of lemon, 1 drop of essential oil of ginger or thyme, right? And you mix it in your 30 spoon of mushroom powder. And that's enough. That's all what the body needs for essential oil. You have to mix it. You have to, the essential oil have to have a support and need to have to be diluted a maximum you can, right? Because they are so powerful. So you don't need a lot. You know, when I see people what they're doing with essential oil, it's crazy. So if you do that, in the meantime, you will have something which is going to work much deeper than just than just the mushroom. But that is the way I will recommend to take it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean-Marc. It's really interesting. We had Gar Chalfont on, didn't we, June, not so long ago, and he was talking about how as the decades have gone, people have lost the ability to chew, and it's changing the shape of our faces, you know, all the jowls and everything. But yeah, it's had a significant effect, hasn't he? He's Dementia Pioneers. Sorry, I know
Carol, rebounding. Somebody needs to say this. It's really important because the lymphatic system and the circulation really benefits from rebounding. And Carol does it in the morning. She didn't want to necessarily say that, but she's written it in the little thing. So I will say it for you. And also that reminds me about touch valves, because I forgot to mention that too. Clearly I'm not yet awake. But Sarah, put in some touch valve self-care in your ritual, because that's, yeah, morning ritual. I always do this, and I've completely forgotten to mention it. Do my switching, and then, you know, some cross crawl, and pull my ears and eyes, and, you know, just a few bits and pieces like that. That's a really good way to get yourself going, because you get the lymphatic system moving as well with that if you haven't got a rebounder. But there's a very good reason why children bounce on beds, because they know they know that it's good for them, and it's also fun. So shall I do the new moon thing?
Yes, please do. Yep.
Okay. Press the buttons, press the right buttons this time. Here we go.
Hello, intrepid dreamers. So this is your new moon update by Claire the Oily Witch. I want to talk to you about the new moon that is coming this Friday, Friday the 9th of February 2024. This is the Rowan moon for people following the native British kind of pagan practices, druids, etc. So Rowan is all about, it's Bridget's tree, it's a fire tree, it's the first tree generally to have leaves to signify the arrival of spring. It's new beginnings. In Scotland it's known as mountain ash, and it's a very sacred tree, and they don't like chopping it down up there, which is good. All trees should be gaining much better respect than they actually have in our culture. That needs to be returned. I'm just grabbing my new moonstone, black moonstone, which is quite rare. And so we can kind of look towards this moon for kind of bright new beginnings. So we had this birch moon that really kind of felt like it went on and it kind of compassed Imbolc, which was really interesting because for some people the clearing was continuing. And that's still happening because some people are still questioning what on earth just happened, you know, because there's been so much turmoil and upset and things happening, and the ancestral clearing is still going on for a lot of people, and revelations around family systems and family patterns and family secrets and abuse, neglect, etc. And, you know, these patterns are why we're always meant to happen, and why we're in this kind of, you know, lifetime, a lot of us, to clear them. That's our kind of role and responsibility, and that means that we can do it, even though at times it may feel really, really rough. So kind of, you know, Pluto is in Aquarius, which is kind of giving this kind of like, Mercury's also there as well, and there's a conjunction between them, which is kind of subtle, not particularly forceful, but it kind of means that words that are said carry great depth and meaning and last for a long time. But it is kind of, you know, Venus is in Capricorn, squaring Chiron in Aries. So you kind of, the Venus in Capricorn energy is one of kind of careful cautiousness in love. And then Chiron in Aries is like the wound of self-identity. So it's like the people protecting themselves at the moment. Self-protection is coming first, where people are thinking, oh, you know, especially if people have hurt you, it's like, you know, what can I do to make sure I care for myself well? And a good friend of mine told me a useful thing, or shared a useful video with me, and it was this gentleman saying that what you can do with things when people have hurt you is put your hand on your heart. Generally, well, I keep putting my right hand on, which is kind of the male aspect, sun sign. It's just saying, you know, I release all the pain that so-and-so has given me in the past. I release it with love. I release it with gratitude. I release it fully. I release it with kind of, you know, comprehensively. I release it all, grateful to the karmic lesson. And just repeating this kind of tiny little mantra, which you can make your own 2 or 3 times a day. It's really powerful. And when you're doing it, it's just envisaging that, just leaving your auric field with love. And just, even if to begin with it's difficult to say because the words get stuck in your throat because you think, you know, this person really did me wrong, it does begin to flow, because ultimately everything that happens to us is for our greatest good, even the things that hurt. It's like, right, what is the wisdom in that? But there is a kind of, you know, a kind of energy in the air at the moment, which is kind of like exciting politically and socially. It's a bit explosive. It's a bit nervous. It's like, what's going to happen? And I think that just comes with new beginnings and change, doesn't it? Because it's the fear of the unknown, which is a very human trait. It's change. Nobody likes that. The sun and moon are also in Uranus and Taurus, so that means mistakes are being made with material things, and behaviors possibly slightly erratic or eccentric, with certain people's minds becoming lightning quick. Some people are able to plan their new futures with ease at the moment, as I said before, but other people are still like caught in that, what the hell just happened? So kind of then we've got with this new moon, which for some cultures is why it's the second moon since winter solstice is the new year for some cultures like the Chinese. So we have the Chinese wood dragon coming in on the 10th of February. Now, wood dragon is, you know, the element of wood is very kind of earthed, grounded, kind of, you know, you think of a tree, it's there, it's observing, it's holding life. It's a gateway to other worlds. It is kind of at peace, you know, and it spreads its canopy and it's completely balanced, its root system balanced, its branches. So you've got that kind of, and then dragons are kind of representative of kind of love and fire and all this kind of stuff. So you've kind of got this love and this courage coming in to perhaps stand your ground this year, stand in your power, perhaps to be grounded in your own power. And this Rowan moon is lighting the way for us to go through, or providing ceremonial fire energy to clear those relationships which do not serve us, because there is certainly a lot of that fresh start, new beginning energy around with this Pluto in Aquarius, and the new beginnings are permanent. So there's no going back. And I guess the question is, how deep am I prepared to go with this? Now, if you want to know what this all means to you, go and look at where Aquarius is in your chart, and that will give you an idea of where that new beginning is happening. Which part depends on which house. And if you haven't had your chart read and you'd like to have your chart read, get in touch with me.
Oh, okay. Yes, we just
Thank you for sharing, June.
finished. Yeah, we finished right at the end. 7 minutes. That was not too bad, was it? Whew. Yeah, and I didn't mention the wood dragon again, because I've been saying about it for the last 3 weeks or so. I have got a link to Nick Haynes's information about wood dragons, which is more about planting your intentions, which goes with the new moon. But it's really important this whole year is to plant seeds, to sow seeds of your dreams, to actually have a feeling of really making your future happen collectively and individually. So I think that's a really important message. So I'll send you that, Kerry, privately.
Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing the Oily Witch as well. It's been an absolutely fascinating morning, as always. Thank you to everybody who took part with their contributions. Thank you to Carol, to Jean-Marc, to Sarah, Helen, and to June. And to you for watching. On behalf of the People's Health Alliance, thank you so much. And please join us next week. Goodbye. Fabulous Wellbeing Wednesday to everyone.